Good evening. This evening we are going to look at Romans chapter 8 verse 24. And the text says, "For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for it?" And hope's meaning is faith and trust in this verse. But hope that is seen is not hope, meaning that hope is referring to faith. What we can see is not faith, for what a man seeth, why does he hope for it? That if we are to truly have hope, we must not get caught up in what we see, but trust what we don't see. So having hope in what we can't see will give us the greatest pleasure in life, because we will expect and anticipate the day we get to see our salvation when we are in heaven. So we are not to be conformed of this world, but the renewing of our minds through the Spirit when we accept salvation. So having true hope in what we can't see will transform us from the inside out by first changing our hearts, and then our habits to match up with our hearts and live a godly life. So this leads back to faith, which we will have to look at Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 for the definition of faith. And as I turn to my Bible to the verse, chapter 11 verse 1 says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." So that is basically saying the evidence of things not seen that you hoped for is faith. Whenever you don't see how things worked out for you and you hope for them, you are showing faith in what you hoped for but didn't see the evidence of what made it work out for you. Just like salvation, you didn't see the evidence of Jesus Christ getting hung on the cross and dying and then rising on the third day, alive and leaving an empty tomb, but our hope in the resurrection calls us to have faith in the resurrection that makes salvation possible. Now back to Romans 8:24. To further our understanding, we need to look at Romans 4:18. So if I flip to Romans chapter 4 verse 18, we will take a look at the script. Romans chapter 4 verse 18. "Who against hope believed in hope, that he might become the father of many nations, according to that which was spoken, so shall thy seed be." So to get a further understanding, we need to look at Romans chapter 4 verse 3. "For what saith the scripture?" That's a question. "Abraham believed God, and it was counted unto him for righteousness." And basically what that is telling us, that because Abraham believed God, it counted as salvation in a time salvation wasn't possible through the blood of Christ. So getting back to Romans 4:18, it is describing hope for Abraham is faith, and that he might be the father of many nations, and we need to refer to Genesis chapter 15 verse 5. And I've got it wrote down in my notes so I don't have to flip to it. Genesis chapter 15 verse 5. "And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be." God is telling him to look at the stars because there are so many of them. And God is telling him that if I, God, can number this many stars, you can guarantee that your seed shall be, and it's the hope in that moment that he believes God and his faith in God counted as salvation. Abraham didn't see any evidence that his seed shall be, but he believed God anyways. So to close, we need to look at 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 7. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 7, for we walk by faith, not by sight. So everything starts with hope and leads to faith. And having faith gives us salvation through the blood of Christ. So whenever you hope for something, you have a desire, an expectation of it, you have a trust in it, you have a feeling of trust towards it. So whenever you hope for something, it leads to faith. And once you have faith in something, that means you trust in it. So if you trust in God, you have faith in God. You have faith in Jesus. You have faith in the resurrection. You have faith in him dying and rising on the third day and leaving an empty tomb. You have that trust. You don't see the evidence of it, but you trust in it. So whenever you hope for something, you are hoping for salvation. You are hoping that one day that you will see heaven. You will get to walk among Jesus in heaven. So having hope in that, you have a feeling of trust in it. You have a feeling of desire in a moment of pleasure and anticipating that wait. It brings faith. And faith is believing in something even though you don't see it. So therefore, whenever we hope in the Lord, hope in Jesus, it's just another way of saying that we have faith in Jesus. Thank you for watching.